the friendly games in the friendliest of cities. Welcome to Glasgow 2026 and the Commonwealth Games. You're watching artistic gymnastics at the arena, and it's the place to be because we have got some fantastic action coming up over the course of a busy session and a busy day. Fans of all ages looking forward to some top quality women's artistic gymnastics. It's always one of the showpiece sports of the Games. This is what's coming up. 2 subdivisions in the women's team final and individual qualification. Over the course of the day, for there are 4 subdivisions in total, we will discover the strongest women's team in the Commonwealth of Nations. Who will it be? Anyone's guess, but there are some great contenders and we wish all of the gymnasts the best of fortune in their quest for team and or individual glory. Great pleasure to have your company wherever it is you're watching the action from and whoever you're supporting at Glasgow 2026. Whether you've been watching this wonderful sport for many, many years or whether you're brand new to it, we will guide you through all of the competition today. And there is much excitement about the presence of Team Scotland later on in the day. Subdivision 1 of 4 in the women's team final and individual qualification is coming up at Glasgow 2026. The 23rd Commonwealth Games and the 11th time that gymnastics has been a part of it. Gymnastics was introduced in Edmonton in 1978, returned in Auckland in 1990 and has been part of the Games ever since. Canada continued their great record of success in gymnastics at the Commonwealth Games with a first men's team title in 2 decades yesterday. Congratulations to them. That was the one they really wanted. England won silver and Australia took bronze. What of today? What of the women's team final and individual qualification? We're going to find out in just a moment as the gymnasts of Subdivision 1 make their way into the arena.
Welcome to the Glasgow International Arena for the women's artistic gymnastics individual qualification and team final.
This is Subdivision 1 of 4.
Please welcome the gymnasts. Starting on vault, Malta.
We welcome 3 gymnasts from Malta.
Represented by Philippa Busatil,
18-year-old Philippa Busatil.
Liana Kemi Iguanes,
17-year-old Liana Kermi Iguanes.
Sophie St. John,
And 15-year-old Sophie St. John.
Malta.
They are all Commonwealth Games debutants and they won gold as a team at the Games of the Small States of Europe last year.
Also starting on vault, New Zealand.
3 gymnasts from New Zealand, one of whom has waited a long time for this. 18-year-old June McDonald. Courtney McGregor is here at last, the 27-year-old. Joined by 18-year-old Sienna Shields. Courtney McGregor, soon to be Dr. McGregor, who was selected for Glasgow 2014 but picked up a knee injury in the final warm-up the day before the competition. And how special this is. Namibia, for the first time ever, sending a women's team to the Games. Sureshni Andrew, 16. Joni Thorburn, 17. Anleen Thorburn, 20. and 24-year-old Taisha Humphreys. They are the history makers for Namibia. Congratulations to them. And we have two individuals. 16-year-old Sienna Santiago from the Cayman Islands. Georgia Haralampus represents Cyprus. She's 18-year-old and from beautiful Limassol on the coast. So we have two groups of gymnasts. Malta and New Zealand will start on vault. The Namibian team, along with the individuals from the Cayman Islands and Cyprus, will start on the uneven bars. I don't think Courtney McGregor can believe it's finally happened, that she's finally made it. On the uneven bars, we'll have the Namibian team, who are already history makers before they even start. They'll be joined by Sienna Santiago from the Cayman Islands and Cyprus's Georgia Haralampus. We will also have gymnasts who begin their campaign at the vaulting table. The team from Malta, and there are three gymnasts from New Zealand, but we anticipate they will not all be performing on each apparatus. We'll come back to the implications of that for the team competition in due course, but we are excited to see Courtney McGregor at the vaulting table. We're excited to have your company wherever it is you're joining us from, and I'm delighted to be joined by Blythe Lawrence in the commentary position in this beautiful arena in Glasgow. So many stories to come on women's team final day.
Absolutely. Everybody is going to be riveted to the story from New Zealand. Courtney McGregor making her Commonwealth Games debut 10 years after competing at the Olympics in Rio, and looking absolutely fabulous, particularly on vault, which has always been one of her signature events, which is where she is going to be starting off today. And just like you alluded to, Ollie, it's fantastic to see Namibia here for the very first time, as well as representation from the Cayman Islands, Cyprus, and Malta.
I thought you might start with Courtney McGregor. I think that is the story of the morning, really. But you're quite right to pick up on all the other history makers as well. Courtney McGregor's one is particularly special, and we'll come back to it because she's competing later on in this first subdivision. The Maltese gymnasts are going to get started. They've got a cracking young squad, and one gymnast who's been particularly important, as we do see June McDonald, who will be competing later for New Zealand on the uneven bars. And we've got the soon-to-be Dr. McGregor sitting alongside. But yes, the Maltese team, we've got gymnasts like Philippa Buzatil, who's been a World Cup finalist. The World Cup series is the regular season in the sport of gymnastics, so she's proven herself to be very impressive.
And with Malta, we've been seeing them come on quite strongly on the international scene over the past 4 years. It was really at the European Championships back in 2022 that they first had a major presence in women's gymnastics. And since then, there have been World Cup finals and just an increasing amount of international exposure.
You're quite right, and I must commend you for it, because you said in 2022, keep an eye on Malta, and you were right. So we are going to be underway soon. The warm-ups are in progress. And for those of you who are new to watching the sport of artistic gymnastics, difficulty plus execution is how we get the total score. Difficulty starts from 0 and works upwards. Everything a gymnast does that is a part of the code of points will earn them marks. Execution is a negative process. You start with 10 and you lose marks for every deviation from correct technique. So difficulty up, execution down, total score. It's that simple. The history makers are here at Glasgow 2026, the first ever Namibian women's team. Over at the vaulting table we have Malta. It begins, the women's team final and individual qualification at the Commonwealth Games of Glasgow 2026. A bright young squad from Malta. They've been improving so much over the years. Diana Kermi-Ingwanes is going to begin for them. The Maltese team won gold at the Games of the Small States of Europe last year.
Round off entry to this vault. Yurchenko with a full twist. There's a big step forward, but she has gotten it to her feet. And look at what it means to her. Good morning, Malta. You are at the Commonwealth Games.
Did well to save this, didn't she? A little bit bent over as she landed. Great hold.
She doesn't get the greatest amount of block off the table, which doesn't get her very much into the air. But she does very well to make the twist around and to stay on her feet.
The 17-year-old, top performer on vault at the National Championships last year. She made all 4 apparatus finals at the Mediterranean Junior Championships. Very big accomplishment. They're so excited to be here, the Maltese team. One of the coaches is Niamh Agius, a former gymnast who's making her coaching debut at the Games. And she said she's so grateful to her own coaches, Miss Audrey and Mr. Chun, who never gave up on her and always pushed her to be better, to her parents who drove her to and from the gym every day. That's just how emotional one of the coaches feels, let alone how the gymnasts feel. Just waiting for the first score to be calculated.
And when you're standing at the edge of the vault runway, ready to go, this can feel like a very long wait.
We have a score of 12 exactly, so 3 penalty tenths removed from the score for that out of bounds violation. She's going to vault twice. Now, just a bit of housekeeping for you. The team score only depends on the first vault. This is her second vault for vault final qualification.
And it is a lovely piked Sukahara. Very different from the first vault that we saw.
Good quality vaulting that from Diana Kermi-Ingwanes. The moment has arrived. Taisha Humphreys of Namibia, the 24-year-old who was born in the country but lives in Spain. A late starter to this sport. She has got the Namibian team up and running for the first time ever in a women's competition at the Commonwealth Games.
A solid start with the transition from high bar to low bar. And a good finish as well.
This is somebody who started the sport at the age of 13. She got into it after watching a program called Dance Mums, then started watching gymnastics videos on YouTube. Imagine how that feels to them, Blythe, to now be underway for the first time as a women's team at the Games.
And this was a really solid exercise for them to begin with. No major errors. It's not going to get a high difficulty score, but the execution was solid.
And you're so right to bring that up, because this is what we say at the Commonwealth Games, at any gymnastics competition. Perform the gymnastics that you are able to do to the best possible standard. Everyone here is aiming to be the best version of their perfect days in training. Get as close to that as possible. 11.925 is the average for Liana Kermi-Iguanas, and 11.85 for the second vault. This is Philippa Buzatil, who has been the gymnast out there on the World Cup circuit making finals.
Another round-off entry vault. This time it's a piked Yurchenko. Really calm off the table. Very clean, a professional piece of vaulting this. Good approach. Great push through her shoulders. When we speak about block on vault, we're talking about that absorption through the shoulders.
Taisha Humphries, 7.8 score. So just to give you an idea, they're a 1.5 difficulty score. We're with Alla Thorburn, 20-year-old, top ranked nationally on the uneven bars. So they'll be excited to watch her work at home.
She has a very pretty way of swinging the uneven bars. Setting up for a big transition, the toe-on Shaposhnikova. And cleanly through it. It's a blind change to front giants, and she went for the very complicated Jaeger release skill. Just a little too far out in order to grasp the bar.
She certainly went for it, didn't she? She really attacked it with confidence.
She did. A same bar release element is one of the requirements for every bar routine. But it's a very difficult skill, among the hardest in this routine. And she deals with the pack salto. That could have been a much larger deduction than it was. On uneven bars, you can't stop, and that's part of the challenge of this apparatus.
There's some really nice features to her work. Good effort from Alla Thorburn. She's been doing gymnastics her whole life. The Thorburns in the team. Petra Thorburn is the head coach. Philippa Buzatil scores 11.65 for her vault. To the 15-year-old from Malta, Sophie St. John. Gold medal on vault at the Games of the Small States of Europe.
Very new to international competition and very promising.
Wasn't that a nice vault?
Lovely layout position displayed off of the block. We'll break this vault down into its components. From her run, she does a round off onto the springboard and then a back handspring onto the table, pushes off. Great straight body once again, and just the small step on the landing. Clean and straight in the air, well presented.
They do have good, secure presentation, the Maltese gymnasts. Nice fundamental technique. Glasgow 2026, the Commonwealth Games in the friendliest of cities. Alla Thorburn waiting for her score to come in as the Namibians are getting underway. Their team debut in women's artistic gymnastics at the Commonwealth Games. Doing their country proud. For so many of the gymnasts here, they're amazed that they're actually competing alongside some of their absolute heroes. We've had gymnasts at the Games saying that people like Georgia Godwin, Ellie Black, Ruby Evans are absolute idols of theirs. Proud moment for Pauline on the right, who is a Scottish judge, very experienced international judge, one of the finest out there. Lovely to get to judge a home Commonwealth Games. 12.35 for Sophie St. John. 8.75 execution score, very positive. Calculations going on. Just a little delay in this first subdivision at Glasgow 2026, but the action will come thick and fast. It's a busy day, 4 subdivisions, and all of these gymnasts are going for individual honours as well. They're trying to get into the women's all-around final. 18 will get into that final with a maximum of 2 per Commonwealth member association. Now that's a reminder of the first performance, the history-making performance of Taisha Humphreys of Namibia, who got everything started for her team. She's one of the ones who said Ruby Evans is a hero of hers. I think Blythe Ruby Evans has become a hero to a lot more people in the last year, hasn't she?
Oh, certainly. And after this Games, well, she might see that she has increased name recognition, shall we say, around the world.
And she won a medal at the World Championships on floor last year. That's why she's become even greater profile across the gymnastics and indeed wider sporting family. So Ala Thorburn scores 7.85. And we'll now have Joni Thorburn on the uneven bars. Cites Ellie Black as her hero. Well, Joni, you are now in the same competition as Ellie Black. How does that feel?
Pack salto transition from high to low. And brushing the mat with the feet will be a deduction of 0.3 of a point. Good blind change and a front layout dismount.
It's a really good determined effort from Joni Thorburn. As you said, Blythe, she had that moment just coming into contact with the mat. That could easily have totally derailed her swing.
And she did not let it. That is real determination.
Joni Thorburn, 17-year-old who's competed at 2 African championships. Just imagine what this is going to do for the profile of artistic gymnastics in their country.
And as you mentioned before, no matter what happens, they will always have been the first.
The pack salto, performed by Joni Thorburn, a new skill. She's only just added it. And actually, it was the first time that she's performed it in an international competition. Only the second time she's ever competed it. So isn't that a big moment?
Oh, huge. To have the guts to bring out a skill like that for the first time at a Commonwealth Games. Oh, it's incredible. And that's the sort of thing that you do at an event like this. We're going to see from other gymnasts as well. They have added in new skills specifically for this competition because they want to be at their very best here.
And with that, obviously, comes the risk that you might have some execution issues here and there, but that's okay because it takes time for skills to bed in.
Oh, absolutely.
She's had the courage to do it, and she's worked hard in training to make that skill count.
And that is huge. Often, the first time that you do a skill, it can be quite nervy, and sometimes it doesn't go exactly as you hope it will. But credit to her, she did it, and she's got it now, and the first time is always the hardest.
She scores 6.25. She said it's an absolute dream come true and an honour to be here. Well, we're honoured to have the Namibian team here. This is Sureshni Andrew, known as Shushu. 16-year-old, lives in Windhoek, the capital city of Namibia.
Beautiful straight handstand to begin this routine, and then the clear hip with pirouette that she added on doesn't quite go the way that she hoped it would. It is a very complex skill. Toe on straddle transition to the high bar.
Shushu Andrew from Namibia. She'll be looking forward to taking to floor. She loves to dance, loves to learn new dances. Her favourite gymnasts are the likes of Simone Biles and Rebecca Andrade. She's also a massive Caitlin Ohashi fan, a very renowned performer on floor who's just made a comeback. So she'll be so excited at the moment, Shushu Andrew.
This routine was capped by the layout flyaway dismount, showing really good mastery of the basics here.
She actually started as a gymnast when she saw some videos of Simone Biles on YouTube and was really excited, couldn't wait to tell her mum what she'd seen, and her mum next day, good for her, signed her up for gymnastics lessons.
And it is very possible that there are youngsters in Namibia watching right now who are thinking, hey, I'd kind of like to do that. That's the kind of impact that this will have.
That's beautifully put. With just this first performance here, an entire generation of Namibian gymnasts has been born. And they'll have no idea. They'll just be out there at the moment doing their gymnastics, as 6.85 is Shushu Andrew's score. They won't realise the full impact of it for years to come. Till one day someone will come up to them when they're in their 30s and go, do you know, I'm only doing this because of you, because of Glasgow 2026. So we have a split warm-up system in operation. That means that halfway through the rotation, there's another bit of warm-up time, of contact time for the apparatus for the gymnasts who are still to go. We've had all of the Namibian performances on the uneven bars, but we still have to come Sienna Santiago of the Cayman Islands and Georgia Haralampus. Blythe, you made a really interesting point about the podium yesterday and where these gymnasts are performing.
In major international competition, all of the apparatus are set up on a podium. You have to actually mount a set of stairs in order to get to the starting point. And this is not the way that regional gymnastics competitions or state gymnastics competitions are typically set up. So for some of these athletes, this might actually be the first time that they are on this podium. And the gymnasts often say that it can be kind of bouncy. It makes the vault and sometimes the floor exercise just a little bit springier.
For someone like her, competing on a podium, it's been going on for ages because it's Courtney McGregor and she knows her way around the Olympic Games and top-level competitions. For the gymnast from Namibia, it was only in April of last year that the first competition to have a full podium in Africa took place. It was in Cairo.
We can imagine that there has been some adaptation, not just on vault and floor, but also even on bars and balance beam. Especially on the uneven bars when so much lands in a handstand when it comes to the pirouettes and the casts after the kips. Well, it can feel a little bit different. And sometimes even the apparatus itself feels different. There are different apparatus manufacturers around the world. And so what these gymnasts are competing on might actually not be the same maker of apparatus that they're training on.
We are with Sienna Santiago of the Cayman Islands on the uneven bars, the 16-year-old.
She starts with a bail transition, hits the handstands really well so far in this exercise. Good toe shoot to high, kips off of it really cleanly. Setting up for her dismount, double tuck.
Nearly, very nearly. Difficult to get the angle right, coming down to ground on that double tuck. Have we seen a handstand snapped into with greater authority than that? I mean, that was beautiful.
Straight handstands on the uneven bars are something that are really emphasized, not only after the kips like that one, but also coming out of pirouettes. There is a deduction if you are not very close to the vertical 12 o'clock position. And here's her dismount. She actually does what we call pulling in a little bit and doesn't release quite at the optimal moment in order to get those two somersaults around. Leads to a little bit of over rotation, and that's why she had the backwards fall on landing.
A first look at New Zealand in the women's competition. It's Sienna Shields. The 18-year-old makes her Commonwealth Games debut. She was presented with the fern on being selected for the Games. And her whānau, her extended family, all attended the ceremony. She was overjoyed to have them there.
It's a really clean Cuervo vault, unusual amongst elite gymnasts, and very well performed. She has to turn her body halfway around after coming onto the table in the forward or handspring position. So it's a handspring entry. There's the half turn. And it does allow her to spot the landing. So her head is actually looking at the mat as her feet come around. And that's an aid for the gymnast. They know where they are in the air and what they need to do to absorb and go for a solid stick.
Family watching on. Well, she said when she got the fern that it was a reward for 10 years of pickups and drop-offs for the family who'd driven her around.
It's everyone's fern.
Yes, exactly right. And that's why the extended family, what they call the whānau in New Zealand, were there.
It's very true. And so often these journeys, it's the gymnast certainly, but it's also everyone around the gymnast who has helped them get there, whether it's coaching or driving them to practice or providing ice packs or anything like that.
Sienna Shields trains at Waikatere Gymnastics Club. She's aiming to head to university soon. She was part of the team that won silver at the Oceania Championships. 12.25. Now, that's the first vault. She's going for a spot in the vault final, so she will vault twice. Nicely done. Good performance.
Full twisting Sukahara, second vault. And she is also going to have 0.2 of a point added to her score because in the rules of gymnastics, well, we'll come back to that in a moment.
9.1 for Siena Santiago. We certainly will come back to that because that's an important feature of the vault rules. Now to Cyprus and Georgia Haralampous.
It's a really big Kachev off the top of this routine. Clean pack salto transition. The layout backflip from high bar catching the low bar. We're going to be seeing that a lot in this competition. This is looking very good from an execution standpoint. Grip change and then front giants. And there's a requisite full turn, that too a requirement on the uneven bars. And she opts for a simple and very clean layout dismount.
That's a very pleased gymnast after a very pleasing performance aesthetically. As you said, technical work of high quality there.
On uneven bars, we focus on the fluidity of the swing, but also especially on the leg form. She does a great job in this exercise of keeping her knees together, keeping her legs completely straight and locked out, her toes pointed. It all makes for a really pleasant presentation.
Had a very nicely performed pack salto in there, transitioning from the high to the low. Sienna Shields gets a 12.625, and there's that 0.2 bonus.
And the bonus is given to gymnasts who perform 2 vaults that go in different directions, flipping off the table. She showed us forward, and then she showed us backwards.
She's done it. Courtney McGregor is here. She was injured in the final warm-up the day before Glasgow 2014. And she is going to make the most of this opportunity. Soon to be Dr. Courtney McGregor. She retired 6 years ago, but made a comeback last year, winning the national title.
And this 1.5 twisting Yurchenko is a Courtney McGregor classic. She's always done it extremely well. And she continues that here. It's a very powerful approach. The round off back handspring onto the table, very solid. And look at the push that she gets off. Plenty of airtime, more than ample to complete the 1.5 twist. She is going to have a small penalty, 1/10 of a point, just for touching the red as she landed that.
She has made the Commonwealth Games dream come true. She made the Olympic dream come true in Rio. One of the most respected gymnasts out there. She was a cult favorite in the American collegiate scene. Studied at Boise State University in Idaho. She quite often literally gets back from a gymnastics competition and puts scrubs on the next day to go into hospital work as a final year medical student. It's a 12.95 for the first vault. She has often over the course of her career had a very interesting second vault, Courtney McGregor, an unusual one.
There's a lot of complexity in this. It's going to be another round-off entry, but a half twist onto the table, and another half twist, and a back pike off. There's a lot going on in this second vault. The round off and then the half turn. She has to get that just right in order to get the block and the height to complete the back pike and the half twist. She does it well, and it's one of the reasons that she is considered a medal contender here on vault. The second vault is going to be pivotal to her chances. Well done here.
It's not a vault we see hugely often on the international stage. very central as well, right down the middle of the tramway. If she was feeling any anxiety, any complicated emotions at finally making it here, she has kept them very under control and performed really well on vault. 27-year-old Courtney McGregor. .11.2 for Georgia Haralampos. Feeling of absolute euphoria for so many of these gymnasts getting to perform at the 2026 Commonwealth Games in this beautiful space in the arena. .925 is the average for Courtney McGregor, a 12.5 for the second vault. She gets that 0.2 bonus. Now the long wait for Courtney McGregor to see if she'll get into the vault final, because we've got 4 subdivisions in total. The gymnasts that started at the vaulting table now move to the uneven bars. Malta will commence, and then we'll have just 2 gymnasts from New Zealand. Sienna Shields will not perform on the uneven bars, and we'll get the chance to see Jen McDonald in what is scheduled to be her sole apparatus at the Games. And we bring into play the beam. Namibia will head there, and we'll then see the individuals from Cyprus and from the Cayman Islands. Yes, the balance beam. For many people, Blythe, it is the iconic apparatus of women's gymnastics, the one they first think of.
It's the one that you remember, and the one that lots of people can relate to, whether they're gymnasts or not. Everybody understands the idea of trying to walk around and maneuver on a 4-inch piece of wood. Perhaps that brings up some school memories of physical education classes for some. And for the gymnasts, it's quite interesting. A lot of gymnasts really enjoy performing on balance beam. They enjoy training on it, I should say. Performing on it in pressure situations can be something else entirely, but when you do well on beam in an international competition, well, it's a wonderful feeling.
I remember the first time that you and I worked together as a commentary partnership. There was a particularly heavy fall on beam, and I winced, and you just looked at me and said,
yes.
That happens about 20 times in training every day.
You jumped out of your seat, and the gymnasts themselves kind of go, oh, yeah.
Just get on with it.
It happens. And it's true that the falls can be quite dramatic, and they can be fairly painful. Everybody knows what it's like if you've done gymnastics to fall and scrape the side of the beam all down your leg, for example. It's not a good feeling. Sometimes you see gymnasts that have bruises on their legs, and you think, they've been bitten by the beam.
Yes,
it's part of training.
That's the term, isn't it, that's used in the sport, being bitten by the beam. Well, we've all been bitten by the bug watching artistic gymnastics at Glasgow 2026, and I hope you have as well, especially if it's your first time watching the sport. For some of the youngsters here, it will be the first time that they've seen gymnastics live. There's a real difference watching it actually in the arena. I always say one of the things that surprises you is actually how much smaller and closer together the uneven bars are than you think they're going to be. Television can often make space look very expansive, but those bars are close together and difficult to maneuver your way around. The same for the pommel horse in men's artistic gymnastics. It's small on TV, it's tinier in person. And there is the site of the arena. in the east of Glasgow in Dalmarnock, north of the River Clyde. Right over the road from Celtic Park. And I won't get myself into hot water by saying too much about Scottish football rivalries. I'll just simply say a very well-known team plays there. We'll leave it at that. But this is a huge occasion for Team Namibia. Look at the size of the crowd. Joni Thorburn is going to lead them off on beam. Good luck to her, good luck to the whole team. Her hero, Ellie Black, won the beam title at the Games in 2014 in Glasgow. And Ellie Black will have had that happen to her many times.
She's gone for a very ambitious mount. The front tuck. And the feet have to land exactly square to the beam in order for the gymnast to have a hope of staying on. Some gymnasts don't like to mount the beam with a really complex element. They prefer to do something simple and just get on with the routine. And good for her for taking the risk, for going for it. Very similar skill, but on the beam, the same skill, actually. Important for her difficulty. I believe that she will, despite the fall, get credit for the punch front because both of her feet landed on the beam before she came off. The jump in wolf position with a turn. Another very difficult movement. And if you have ever tried it in an arena like this, in a major international competition, you will sympathize. This is not easy to do. A series of 2 acrobatic elements showing flight is also a requirement on balance beam. Focus needed here. Back handspring, back tuck. Oh, she almost had it.
She will doubtless come away from this feeling cross about coming off the apparatus several times, but all of the components are really promising, and that, I hope, can be a takeaway for Joni Thorburn, because that was a whole sequence of nearlies.
And we need to emphasize how difficult all those elements that she tried really are. She could have done something simpler. She opted to go for the difficulty.
Sophie St. John of Malta is on the uneven bars.
Clear hip to a blind transition right into a pike Jaeger. Very tidy. And look at that handstand afterwards. This is very impressive from Sophie St. John. Good transition from high to low, once again landing in the handstand. She finishes that pirouette quite away from the vertical, so the judges will apply a deduction for that. But she's swinging this very well.
Close to getting that dismount spot on. She has been the standout junior in Malta. She performed a clean sweep of titles at the Maltese Junior Championships last year. Still only 15. Lots to enjoy there.
It was a really lovely routine. This is incredibly promising. The clear hip with the full pirouette transition. That meets the full turn requirement on the uneven bars. Most of the gymnasts opt to do that on the high bar, but she is setting herself apart. And she also sets herself apart with this dismount, a toe-on front pike, well-defined pike position. She just needed to hold on to her knees another half a second.
The crowd in the arena enjoying Subdivision 1 of Glasgow 2026.
So we're ready for our next gymnast. Please show your support for Andrew, representing Liverpool.
Joni Thorburn, 6.9. Shushu Andrew, next to compete for Namibia on the beam. She loves to compete on this apparatus, feels excited by trying new skills. She's going to be bold here.
Needs to be aggressive on the side aerial. Good save. Elements done crosswise to the beam are rated a higher difficulty than if she does it facing the beam as she's standing now. Setting up here, I believe, for a back tuck. Oh, and she just needed to bend her knees a little bit more. And the front Somi, once again, she is not far off in making any of these skills. Just needs to be a bit more aggressive.
Going in for the dismount, really nice dismount, well done to pull that quality of dismount out after a few issues here and there. Mum watching on. What a lovely moment that is. Family able to be here and support Shushu Andrew. Sophie St. John, 10.85. That's got real scoring potential as an exercise. All of the gymnasts have their own way of preparing the right amount of chalk for them. Philippa Buzatil of Malta.
Maloney transition, very pleasant, right into a pack salto. There will be some bonus tenths associated with that opening combination. And she's gone for the ginger. She was not far away from catching that and swinging out cleanly. Let's have another look. Casts in and the grips just pop off the bars. Unfortunate. And she's opting not to repeat the skill. Dismount imminent. Right after the clear hip with full pirouette. And a simple layout is how she ends her routine.
She's a gymnast who has benefited from training in Spain. She's competed in the Spanish league system. She also lives and trains in Italy, has been there for a couple of years. 6.8 for Shushu Andrew. The next Namibian gymnast on beam will be Alla Thorburn. She's the top ranked nationally on the apparatus.
Excellent round-off back handspring mount. And that is known as the Corbett, invented back in the 1970s by the legendary Olga Korbut, the Olympic champion on balance beam in 1972. Turn in the sit or Cossack position, very difficult. And with that, she not only gets herself a tenth or two of difficulty, but she fulfills the requirement of doing a 360-degree turn on one foot. Setting up for her acrobatic series, back handspring, back tuck. It's very daunting when you think about the balance beam in an arena like this, in a competition like this. And sometimes the gymnast hesitates a little bit, whereas in her training gym, she probably would be very aggressive with a combination like that. But this is all part of working into major international competition.
That's a lovely side somersault.
Excellent.
But just to pick up on that point, we must remind ourselves that Namibia only returned to the World Championships last year, having not competed since 2015 in this very city. So it's such a good point you make, Blythe, about just getting used to huge international competitions. This is step one of a huge journey for this team, and they're doing wonderfully well.
You have to commend them. They are showing international class difficulty, both on uneven bars and balance beam.
And there are moments here and there that are so well performed. You can tell that this is an ambitious group of gymnasts. You can see what the aim is, and you must commend their determination. Philippa Buzutil, 10.25 for Team Malta, and for her own all-around qualification prospects.
And we are ready for our next gymnast on the uneven bars. We have Liana Kurmi-Iguanes.
The final gymnast representing Malta on the uneven bars is Liana Kurmi-Iguanes, the 17-year-old.
Straight into the front giants, combined with a really lovely high Jaeger. She does kip off twice. Slightly labored in the toe stalder before that toe-on transition attempt. We're seeing ambitious difficulty from Malta, much as we are from Namibia. She was just quite a bit short in the takeoff for this, and unfortunately not near being able to grasp the high bar. Wouldn't be surprising to see her go for that again. Here it is, and that's the correct technique, easily made.
Really important for those of you who are newer to watching artistic gymnastics to understand that the reason a gymnast often repeats a skill if they've come off the apparatus is to make sure that they are credited with the difficulty.
Yes, On uneven bars, on release skills, for example, if the hands grasp the bar and then the gymnast comes off, she will receive the difficulty credit for attempting the skill. And she's doing it just to make sure that she does get that difficulty.
It's a 7.9 for Ala Thorburn. Taisha Humphries, who, as I mentioned earlier, lives in Spain, has competed in the Spanish league system. And I think it is absolutely wonderful to see a gymnast who started the sport at the age of 13 competing at the Commonwealth Games.
It is incredible that she began so late, and yet she is doing skills like this. Wonderful side somi off the top of that routine. She looks very composed so far. Calm back handspring. And now setting up for her turn in the Cossack position. Goes for a 1.5, well done. Side aerial, needs to keep her shoulders square. She makes the correction. So far, so good.
There are a lot of gymnasts all over the world who would be delighted to produce a beam routine like that in a major championships. Well done, Taisha Humphries.
Many lovely individual skills in this exercise. The dismount, done from 1 foot, known as a brawny with a half turn. Essentially a side aerial off the beam with a 180-degree twist.
8.45 from Liana Curmi-Iguanes. You can imagine that there would have been people in her life who might have said to her when she wanted to start gymnastics at the age of 13, well, you'll have some fun and nice recreational thing to do, but elite level, well, probably a bit too late for that. Look at her, Commonwealth Games.
And one of the themes that we will return to again and again in the women's competition is the fact that you do not necessarily have to be a teenager to be at your very best. We already see it in this subdivision with Courtney McGregor. We are going to see it with Canada and with Australia. The best gymnasts here may be the ones who are in their 20s.
And there is 24-year-old Taisha Humphries producing the most assured Namibian display on the beam. Really well done to her. So we're having the halfway point of rotation number 2, the split warm-up system in operation. So important that the gymnasts get a little contact time with the apparatus. It's called a touch warm-up. They do have a fully equipped warm-up gymnasium, naturally. You always like to have a stroll around that, don't you, Blythe? Pick up as much as you can from watching the training routines.
You can learn a lot from both the training inside the gym that's provided adjacent to this arena and especially from the podium training. It gives a real sense for journalists of where the gymnasts are at actually before they compete.
9.85 from Taisha Humphries. Strongest score for her nation on the apparatus. And when we refer to podium training, that's the day or two of time that the gymnasts have actually in the arena in public training that is designed, or not public training, but full training that's designed to replicate the competition conditions. Now we have got Georgia Haralampos of Cyprus on the beam.
She had a really promising start to her competition on the uneven bars. Calmly through the Cossack spin in 1.5 turns. Setting up here for her acrobatic series, side aerial. And this should be the combined acrobatics. Back handspring layout, step out. Oh, it looked like she had it. Sometimes with the flipping elements on balance beam, gymnasts just second guess themselves a bit. That was a much more confident straddle jump. Beautiful split jump half.
Gosh, she's got some good fundamentals.
And that is really important, looking to the future for her. You cannot do the complicated things well if you haven't first mastered the building block skills.
Really exciting young prospect here from Team New Zealand, about to take to the uneven bars. June McDonald, she's competed in several World Cup events. That's part of the regular season of gymnastics competitions. Lovely. What a moment for her. June McDonald. She said she wants to be a role model. She wants to inspire other people. Well, she won the gold medal on this apparatus at the National Championships last year.
Clear hip with full turn, finishing near handstand. Really well done. Nice way to work into this routine. And there is the Maloney, right to a bail transition, right into a toe stalder with full turn. Her form on uneven bars is very neat. Good use of the clear hip circle, and then the grip change, and then the Jaeger. So far, this has been excellent.
What a nice performance that was from June McDonald. Really smooth. What we would call swingful. Just works with the apparatus. Kinetic energy, fluid.
Great control displayed throughout the exercise.
10.2. Georgia Haralampus of Cyprus. Siena Santiago, the Cayman Islands, on beam. Strong performer on this apparatus.
Right off the top, she gets the full turn requirement out of the way. And now here comes her acrobatic series. Back handspring layout, no hesitation. She just let it flow. Switch leap to split jump to what's called a wolf jump. And a standing back tuck. She's warmed up for this competition by doing some invitationals in the United States. It's experience that no doubt has served her quite well in her preparation. She does look very comfortable. The side aerial, though, can be so difficult if the shoulders are not square to the beam in the air. The gymnast almost has no chance of staying on if at the top of the skill there is that error.
She's got some really nice acrobatic elements on beam. What she also has is beautiful use of her arms and hands. A real balletic feel.
The choreography stands out, doesn't it?
June McDonald, 12.45. She is the pace setter on the uneven bars so far at the Commonwealth Games.
Representing New Zealand, Courtney McGregor.
To Courtney McGregor, who will be doing all four apparatus as part of her bid to get into finals at her long-awaited Commonwealth Games debut. Good luck to her.
Toestalder with full turn. Well done. Now here comes the Maloney. It's very big. And bail to the low bar, right into the toe hecht, back to high. That's an important sequence for her. And she's through it cleanly. And now the Jaeger, her bar release. Just the dismount.
Gosh, she got some lovely amplitude in that dismount. 2 backwards rotations. I think she might have said, let's go. Gosh, Blythe, you know her story better than most. She's waited so long for this, hasn't she?
She has. She actually made the Commonwealth team for Glasgow back in 2014, and she was here in the city and training and sustained an injury just a couple days before competition and wasn't able to compete. She went on to do the Rio Olympics and a really healthy NCAA career for Boise State University in Idaho. And then she retired thinking that she had done everything that there was to do, but there always lingered in her mind the memory of the Commonwealth Games. And it was seeing gymnastics at the Tokyo and Paris Olympics that really spurred something in her to come back to the sport.
She's described herself as a bar hater at heart, or bars hater at heart. Well, now in the spirit of the friendly games, Courtney McGregor, how about calling those the friendly bars? They were friendly to her there, weren't they?
They were. Some gymnasts, it's very clear that they don't like uneven bars. But with her, that was a really solid international class routine. So if there is dislike, maybe it will ebb a bit after this.
I think she is probably just so thrilled to be there and to have made it. And my goodness, has she worked for it. Oh dear. Almost a score of 10 for Sienna Santiago. Hope we get the chance to see her beam routines a lot more in international competitions. That was a very stylish, choreographic display, not just a promising acrobatic effort. 11.7 Courtney McGregor's score. We're at the halfway stage of this first of 4 subdivisions. We look out over the arena. So many teams to come, so many individuals to come. And we move into rotation number 3. This is subdivision 1 of 4, just to remind you. We'll have Malta on the beam, and I think a lot of people will be looking forward to seeing Philippa Buzutil's performance, because she made a World Cup final on the apparatus. She's been a World Cup finalist on a couple of occasions on beam. And that's a big moment for a gymnast from a less well-known nation like Malta. She's held in very high regard by the fans of the regular season. On floor, we will see the performances of Namibia. Particularly interested to watch their lead-off gymnast, Alla Thorburn, because I believe that she's actually a registered World Dance Sport Federation breaker, because there is a B-girl Alla who is registered in the World Dance Sport Federation. Lovely appreciative crowd, Blythe, at the arena.
the friendly crowd at the friendly games. And gymnastics fans are lovely because no matter who you are supporting or where you come from, there's a real appreciation internationally of all of these gymnasts and the work that they do.
I quite agree. It's a very kind sport, actually, in terms of the fan base, because it has never felt, and I'm very aware that as we say this, we're sitting in an arena that is opposite Celtic Park, which is home to one of the great rivalries in world sport, but it's a sport that is not hugely, I would say, territorial in the way that fans behave. They like to see gymnasts do well. Yes, they support their team and their favourites, but they will have their favourites from across the world.
Exactly. It's not that there aren't rivalries. It's not that if you come from a certain nation, you cheer for your nation's team. But gymnastics fans tend to be fans of the art of gymnastics, and they just want to see more of that art, and they can appreciate the different varieties of it that there are. And those things come from every gymnast all around the world.
And that is a great point to make as we see floor come into play for the first time. Varieties of art. That many, many years ago, there used to be really one type of art in artistic gymnastics. It was the balletic form that was considered the purest and truest way. But actually, we've seen the most wonderful evolution of choreographic styles, of artistry over the years, and a diversifying of what the word artistry means. And there should be a diversifying of what the word artistry means, because no one dance style, no one nation owns the word artistry.
Exactly. Floor exercise used to be such a classical apparatus to the point where there was actually a piano player who would play compositions, floor music live in the arena. And now with the technological advancements, it's become open to more different types of music and, just as you said, more different types of dance.
And waiting to go is Ala Thorburn of Namibia, who has a real background in dance. She'll be looking forward to this opportunity to take centre stage. Congratulations to Ala Thorburn on being part of the Namibian team at these games. Let's see what she produces. I told you at the start that she had a dance background. I didn't need to tell you because it was very apparent.
She told us.
Yes, exactly. What a dancer's display from Ala Thorburn. That was wonderful. Sophie St. John goes to the beam. Champion at the Games of the small states of Europe on this apparatus.
Simple swing through mount. And a little kiss blown to the judges, I believe. This is an example of doing something simple just to get yourself upright onto the beam. And now you can focus on the difficulty. Beautiful technique on the free walkover. And then side aerial with a tuck jump half twist combination. It's quite a unique combination. The two elements of value adding to her difficulty. And she goes for a triple acrobatic series, back handspring, layout, step out. Excellent split degree on the leap and the jump. Ideally, the gymnasts are showing a split of 180 degrees or more. She has excellent amplitude on these jumps, and that was a very difficult split jump with a turn that she was going for. Side Somi makes the correction. Despite the fall, this has been lovely to watch.
Sophie St. John became the first Maltese athlete in any sport to win 5 medals at a single edition of the Games of the Small States of Europe last year. She was nominated by the Malta Sports Journalists Association for the National Sports Award as a result. 10.55 for Ala Thorburn. Now, Joni Thorburn will be next to perform on floor. We have Joni Thorburn, we have Ala Thorburn, we have head coach Petra Thorburn. The family must be thrilled.
There was a very high degree of difficulty in the tumbling that she displayed. The front layout full at the top of the routine, the 1.5 twist dismount. But what made it memorable was the polish of the presentation. You can see the ballet. Here's her first pass done from a front layout, the front layout full. And all of her landings to her tumbling passes gave almost nothing away in terms of execution. This was the middle pass, a very simple layout, but stuck cold.
Passing everything, I say, okay, smart, she's not going. And after suddenly,
Sophie St. John just having a moment to gather her thoughts. Natalia Berehova from Ukraine is the head coach of the Maltese team. Sophie St. John, 11.65. And now to Filippa Busuttil.
Ambitious mount plant, round off back handspring, and she adds a layout step out and a back handspring, tumbling all the way down the beam. That is a world-class entry. Quite a unique skill on balance beam, the backward extension roll, finishing in the handstand. And then switch leap to split half. Front aerial, split jump, back handspring. She'll get, I believe, 1/10 of a point of bonus for those 3 elements. Connected them well, too. Really calm side aerial. This routine potentially has the difficulty to make an apparatus final. Dismount, double twist, really, really good.
What a delight of a display from Filippa Busuttil. As you said, Blythe, that sits up there on the international stage. That's a high-class effort.
There are World Championship finalists who would not attempt a mount of such difficulty.
9.85 from Joni Thorburn. Really enjoying the experience, the Namibians. What a landmark moment for an entire nation. This is a gymnast who's a real student of great floor routines across the world. Shushu Andrew, she'll be loving this moment. Lovely performances from Team Namibia on floor. They've got presentation, they've got poise.
It's very clear that they've been really well prepared to be on this stage. They are doing what they can do, and really well.
12.75, Filippa Busuttil. We're going to keep a close eye on that score as the day goes on. Will it make the beam final?
Next up on the beam, representing Malta, we have
Liana Kurmi-Ingwanes of Malta will be the next to compete on the beam. Trains at the Gym Stars Club in the south of Malta, just southwest of Valletta.
We're going to see another complex mount, round off back handspring, but this time, unfortunately, the fall setting up for a side aerial, back handspring. And once again, alas, the unintentional dismount. It's not that there is a problem with her technique. It's actually really good. This might be just a case of competition nerves. Side somi. Well done. It's a lot of beautiful movement with the arms. And the front somi, she saved that. Setting up now for her turn in the Cossack position. The dismount, front layout, full twist.
Gymnasts who are 15, 17 and 18 in this Malta team, it's clear that there's a promising future.
Oh my goodness, they are going to take so much away from this competition. In terms of experience, it's really all that they're lacking. They have the difficulty, they have great technique, lovely presentation. They're going to be very exciting to watch.
Shushu Andrew scores 9.8. The Namibian team will head to vault after this. And we're going to finish their floor rotation with Taisha Humphries. This is her favourite apparatus. You'll enjoy watching her. Lovely moment after the first tumbling pass from Taisha Humphries where she hit it and you could feel her go, right, I've started now, and explode into the choreography with flair.
Lovely height to all of her tumbling, particularly that first pass, the 1.5 twist.
Liana Kermi Iguanes scores 9.1. Namibian team just taking a moment to chat away as a group and enjoy this experience, to be in the moment. Let's look back at her work on floor, Taisha Humphries.
She is an extremely talented tumbler. Look at the way that she sets this up and then gets her arms out to the side. The 1.5 is a blind landing because she can't see the floor before her feet hit it. And the amplitude on her leaps was also extremely impressive. Good split position, but again, height.
She said ahead of these games that she'd been working on improving the amplitude and cleanliness of her tumbling. Well, it shows.
This is also a code of points that plays very well to the Namibians' strengths when it comes to dance, when it comes to presentation. There are actually now deductions on floor exercise if a gymnast doesn't seem connected with the music or isn't using her whole body in the choreography.
On the subject of artistry, that's lovely. The saltire, the place for it everywhere. 10.65 for Taisha Humphreys. Good score, really well done. They've had a great floor rotation, the Namibians.
Floor is an apparatus where if you're feeling comfortable, you can really let yourself go and enjoy what you are doing. And they clearly did that.
Now, we are just hearing that to the delight of Philippa Buzatil, she's had an extra 10th added to her score, 12.85. The reason for that is that she and her coaching team challenged the difficulty score. It was reviewed by the superior jury and she was correctly credited with an extra 10th. Now we go to Siena Santiago of the Cayman Islands. It is very clear that Siena Santiago has studied how to use her arms and her hands when she dances.
There's a very balletic look to all of her gymnastics, and it really comes out in this floor routine.
Crowd loved it.
Great tumbling too.
Sienna Shields is competing on the balance beam for Team New Zealand.
She opts to do a lot of choreography at the beginning of this exercise. That might serve to settle her in before she attempts the big acrobatics that she's got planned here. Back handspring, layout, step out, oh! And that's one of those aforementioned falls that we were talking about at the beginning of the rotation, Ollie. It really unsettles the crowd. Everybody gasps. But the gymnast is used to doing things like that. She knew exactly how to fall. It is one of the first things that you learn when you start training beam quite seriously. It's not over for her yet. Good punch front, nice recovery. And just drops off again, unfortunately, on the side aerial. When you have a fall early in the routine, there's so much for the mind to process.
And so much great work from Sienna Shields on beam. She did recover brilliantly from a fall that, as you say, it hit the audience harder than it seemed to hit her.
Yes. That said, the psychological effect of having a fall like that, it can be very hard to continue on. Your mind might not be exactly on what you need to do.
11.25, that lovely performance from Siena Santiago. Looking forward to seeing the performance of Georgia Haralampos of Cyprus on floor. She's shown a very good fundamental technique so far. Cyprus's Georgia Haralampos, what an effective gymnast.
The tumbling was really competent, but more memorable perhaps is actually the special touches that she adds to the choreography to make sure that it matches to the music.
.3. Sienna Shields, who's just realised that the camera's caught her having a bit of a hydration break. It's a fashionable phrase now to use in sport. Courtney McGregor goes to the beam in this comeback spell of her career that's seen her make her Commonwealth Games debut.
And this is a routine that does not lack in difficulty. Very authoritative punch front to start. Switch to switch leap half. Watching her train on balance beam the other day, it was striking the confidence that she exuded. Back handspring layout to 2 feet. The layout to 2 feet is a much more difficult skill than the back handspring layout step out that we see from so many gymnasts. Her dismounts out of a round off, 1.5 twist.
New Zealand's Courtney McGregor. Next she will go to floor. And it's 11.15 for Georgia Haralampos. Just to remind you that these gymnasts are either competing as individuals or as part of a team. If they are part of a team, they're still also embarking upon individual qualification attempts to get into something like the all-around final or apparatus finals. Courtney McGregor has overcome an extremely serious Achilles injury that required a very complicated surgical process. and we see the results of her comeback and her rehabilitation here, but goodness only knows how hard much of that early rehabilitative process was when she was coming back from surgery. Three from New Zealand: Jim McDonald, Courtney McGregor, Sienna Shields. Just realising that the spotlight was passing across as they were waving at the crowd. It began with so much quality. Lovely mount sequence, just smacked the feet down onto the beam. And the score is 11.5. Blythe, there is a concept, isn't there, of what's called breaking the beam?
Yes, it's the way that you aggressively put your feet down on flipping elements and sometimes on jumps as well. It's sort of like, imagine saying to yourself, I am simply going to nail this, and kind of slamming your fist down, only it's not your fist, it's your feet.
And the idea is that it actually makes you more likely to successfully make the skill if you aggressively go for it.
That's exactly right.
We have the Namibians concluding their qualification campaign and the team final on vault. Cyprus and the Cayman Islands will follow the individuals. All of the individual finals happen the day after tomorrow. No, they happen tomorrow and the days after that. Excuse me, I was letting time pass me by there, because the all-around finals for men and women are tomorrow. The apparatus finals the 2 days after. Malta will be on floor, followed by the two New Zealand gymnasts. Jim McDonald, as I mentioned earlier, only doing the uneven bars. Three subdivisions still to come. And at the end of the day, we will have clarity on who has won the Commonwealth Games women's team title. It was Canada who won the first men's title for their nation in team competition in 2 decades. There'll be hope that Scotland can challenge. The Scottish men, oh my goodness, Blythe, they ran such a good race yesterday.
Oh, it was extraordinary, particularly on the high bar, their last apparatus. They came so very close to the bronze medal.
It really was a high-quality competition. Australia did win the bronze, just about, I think, about a mark and a half in the end. That's all beyond Team Scotland and Team England. They won the silver medal. The English team had a very difficult time out on the competition floor due to a very complicated fall from the apparatus, the high bar for Gabriel Langton, who was helped off the field of play by medical staff. We wish him all the very best. His team have spoken about the impact it's had on them, obviously, and how much they were thinking about him during the competition. So once again, just the very best wishes from the entire Commonwealth family and the gymnastics world for Gabriel Langton of Team England. Well, we've seen lots of very engaging gymnastics, haven't we, in this subdivision. The technical prowess of the Maltese team has stood out for you.
It has. They have an international class level of difficulty. And all three competitors demonstrate a tremendous amount of polish in their work as well. Remarkable for somebody if we consider Sophie St. John, for example, who is just 15 years old. Very young. They're an extremely promising group.
Yes, Sophie St. John, not only the first Maltese athlete in any sport to win 5 medals at a single edition of the Games of the Small States of Europe. She's the first ever Maltese medalist at the World Schools Championships. A chance for a little bit of refreshment for the spectators as we prepare to embark upon the final rotation of Subdivision 1. Hope you're enjoying it all. Great to have you with us at Glasgow 2026. The friendly games in the friendliest of cities. We have Malta followed by New Zealand on floor. Namibia followed by Cayman Islands and Cyprus on vault. Best of luck to the Maltese team. We're going to start with Liana Kurmi-Iguanes on floor. What a technically impressive start that was from Malta on floor. Their scores are going to get bigger and bigger in the years ahead.
The attention to detail in this routine was exquisite.
Team Namibia will be vaulting. Every vault has an assigned difficulty value. And we have Shushu Andrew to begin.
Good Yurchenko tuck.
She is the top-ranked gymnast nationally on the apparatus. For those who are new to the way vaulting works, Yurchenko refers to the entry.
This is a round off onto the springboard and then a back handspring onto the table. That's what makes it a Yurchenko. The great Natalia Yurchenko, the first to do this back in the 1980s. It totally revolutionized the apparatus.
It's amazing to think there was once a world without it.
It is. It seems so long ago now.
She'll be working on getting that tucked position a little tighter, getting the knees more into the body.
She'll also be working on what we call the repulsion phase on vault. That's actually when the hands come into contact with the table, making sure that she absorbs the table through her shoulders to get herself a little more height in the flip coming off.
All of the gymnasts from Namibia are going to be doing 2 vaults. which is an excellent experience for them in a big competition like that. Very good move.
What Namibia needs right now is simply more of this experience, more standing there, waiting for the green light, more dealing with those emotions that come. That's not to say they haven't dealt with it very well today, but the more they do this, the more confident they're going to be, the better the gymnastics is going to be in the future.
And I know many of you know this, but just in case you're newer to watching team competitions, it's only the first vault that is part of the team score. It's an 11.05. And now the second vault. So this is just for her own qualification prospects and her own experience.
Asukahara with a tucked back, different style entry onto the table. That is what is required of 2 vaults.
10.75, the score awarded to Liana Kurmi Nguanes. And we'll go now to the standout performer on beam so far. Now to floor for Philippa Buzutil. Well done, Malta's Philippa Buzutil.
It's a very graceful presentation. Once again, the tumbling, especially the landings, is very solid. But they do little things in the choreography to set themselves apart. In this routine, there was a moment for the headstand.
11.225 average for Sureshni Andrew with 11.4 the score for the second vault. And on we go. This is Taisha Humphries.
Stylish piked Sukahara from her. She comes onto the table basically forward, does a quarter turn with her arms, and then a back flip in the pike position off the table.
I cannot believe how much she has managed to accomplish with such a late start in gymnastics. It is inspirational.
It just shows you what is possible when a gymnast masters the basics really well. And yes, you can start as a teenager and get those fundamentals down and then start building upon them and getting into the higher levels of gymnastics. That's what she has done. And it seems to be working really well for her. There's no sign of injury, there's no sign of burnout. She just looks like she's thriving on the international stage. It's a really good lesson for young women, actually. If you're 13 or 14 and you've always admired gymnastics but think that it's too late for you to begin, it's not. Look at her.
continue.
'Philippa Buzatil's score is 11.15. So that has her currently as the top performer in all-around qualification, 45.9. 18 will make it into the women's all-around final, a maximum of 2 per Commonwealth member association. Sophie St. John. Malta have completed their team competition and they are going to go into the next subdivision in the gold medal position. And they are 3 great young gymnasts.
They have been just fantastic. Certainly for Sophie St. John, that's not going to be the way that she wanted to finish her competition. But just to say, well, we'll come back to that.
What we will say is that it's a first vault performed by Taisha Humphries, 11.45. Let's have a look at the second.
And this, a much simpler vault, a half on to the table, and then a simple half twist off. Well performed.
And as you said, Blythe, just the experience of going out there and doing 2 vaults in a major competition like this. Well done to her. That's her work done in this team competition. Alla Thorburn. She will also do 2 vaults.
A nice piked Sukahara with just a step back on the landing. Really proficient vaulting. The approach is strong. She's very centered as she comes onto the table, and that translates into well-aligned work in the piked flip off. For a step back like that, she might lose in the neighborhood of 0.3 of a point of execution.
Sophie St. John, 9.7. A gymnast of massive potential. Can't wait to see where her career goes, where all of their careers go. These gymnasts from Namibia will be, at the close of the Commonwealth Games, itching to get back to the domestic scene, to get out to the African Championships as a team. They'll be banging on the door going, send me to World Cup competitions. I want to get to the World Championships. 11.55. Vault number 1 for Ala Thorburn. Nobody can ever know what the big stage feels like until they have had the chance to get there. And once you get there, you want a taste of it again and again and again.
Very different vault in terms of the entry. This is the Yurchenko style entry that we've mentioned before and will mention many times again before these Commonwealth Games are over. And once more, a piked flip off the table. Really clean gymnastics demonstrated here.
There is no reason at all why these gymnasts shouldn't be going to competitions like the African Games, the African Championships, and aspiring to get onto the podium. Well done, Team Namibia. Ala Thorburn. The word she used for the experience of going to the games and realising she'd been selected was surreal. And I suspect that's probably how they felt on getting to Glasgow, taking in this environment, seeing the size of the crowd here. 11.4 for Vault 2, 11.475. Very nice, consistent work. We now turn to Joni Thorburn.
Pike Sukahara just overcooked it slightly. Yes, it happens sometimes. The approach was solid, and actually, she just holds on to the pike position about half a second too long, resulting in a bit too much backwards momentum. It's very hard to control, especially in the pike position. The gymnast comes down, the legs are virtually straight.
Big moment for any judge who is selected to officiate at the Commonwealth Games, especially for those who are from the home nations, because there's always that extra little flutter of excitement when you're officiating at a home games. For them to get that blazer, to wear that with pride, stay in the wardrobe for decades, they'll make sure that they get it out at reunions.
It's a really nice blazer.
It is fantastic, isn't it?
You were eyeing one of the men's ones yesterday.
There's no way I'm going to get near one of those. They don't let people like me have a blazer like that. It's fantastic though, isn't it?
Oh, beautiful.
I'd bring down the standard if I wore one.
Oh, no.
And this is exactly the experience you were saying is really useful for gymnasts when they do 2 vaults at a championships. They're not necessarily anticipating they're going to win a medal on vault, but just to know what this bit is like, where you're waiting there, waiting for the score. 10.5 for Joni Thorburn, collecting herself and now going for vault number 2. This is her last contribution to the team final.
Round off entry. The same vault as we saw from her sister, Yurchenko Pike. Much better landing.
What a nice way to finish that was.
She's done it. They've all done it.
Thorburn jubilation for Team Namibia.
The gamut of emotions that you feel. And she had plenty of time to sit there and simmer as she waited to do this vault. A lot of adrenaline potentially going through her veins. And she puts it all into this effort. Stand straight up.
Witness the history makers. Team Namibia. First ever full women's team from their country at the Commonwealth Games. Well done to them, to coach Petra Thorburn. So this is the last warm-up process. We have the gymnasts from New Zealand to come on floor. We've got the individuals from the Cayman Islands and Cyprus on vault. There'll then be a short break before subdivision 2 gets underway. The afternoon and evening sessions will be subdivisions 3 and 4. All of it culminating in nearly a dozen teams contesting the team competition. The highest ranked ones, based on the previous games, will be in the last subdivision. .115, the second vault for Jenny Thorburn, leads to an average of 10.825. And this is the last exercise in this qualification process for New Zealand's Courtney McGregor. Right that she takes centre stage. The Commonwealth Games have made something of a comeback in Glasgow. When people feared that it was over, when people feared we might never see them again, well, Courtney McGregor fits perfectly with that, because my goodness me, has she made the comeback of comebacks. Georgia Haralampos of Cyprus is going to complete her qualification campaign in the individual event, and she will vault.
She warmed up a piked Sukahara, and we get it in the laid out position. is the feeling of knowing you have just successfully competed in qualification at the Commonwealth Games. She does a good job of holding the layout position all the way until her feet touch the ground. And that can be tricky to do. There's 2 small steps on the landing. What a good day at work it's been for Georgia Haralampos.
I think she agrees with you. The Commonwealth Games, where gymnasts from Namibia and Cyprus congratulate each other, where Courtney McGregor returns and finally makes her debut at this event and receives a score of 11.15 on floor. Sienna Shields now competes on floor. This is the final New Zealand performance in this qualification process. How's that for a finish? Wow! Sienna Shields. Brilliant display.
Fantastic work in all of the tumbling, the 2.5 twists that she opened up with, and the really beautiful double tuck that she closed with.
11.45 is Georgia Haralampos' score. Lovely seeing the gymnasts get to the end of qualification. They can relax. Sienna Santiago.
Yurchenko Pike. Really powerful, actually. That's why she had the steps back on the landing.
She's impressed, hasn't she?
Very much so. She gets excellent block off the table. There's almost a little too much power for her on this vault. And that's a very good thing. It bodes well for what she'll do in the years to come.
That's a really interesting observation, actually. The idea that there can be almost good kinds of errors because they show where you might be going as you upgrade.
Hugely. And actually, to go back to Sophie St. John on floor exercise, better too much power than too little. And we see that here as well.
Nice connection, yeah?
Malta and New Zealand travelling around the competition floor together. Friendships made. Memories to last a lifetime at Glasgow 2026. The subdivision draws to a close. Last numbers are being calculated. Sienna Shields, 11.25. Well done to New Zealand. Siena Santiago, an 8+ execution score for an 11.25 vaulting mark. The lights are out, but there is a lot more to come. Currently in the gold medal position, Malta. In the silver medal position, Namibia. New Zealand occupying 3rd place in the women's team event at Glasgow 2026. And this is what we know at the moment. The top all-around performer is New Zealand's Courtney McGregor. Philippa Buttertil and Sophie St John of Malta in 2nd and 3rd place. A long way still to go, though. In vaulting qualification, Courtney McGregor leads the way. Her teammate Sienna Shields in 2nd place. I just remind you, still 3 subdivisions to come. The best performance on the uneven bars, another New Zealander, June McDonald. Absolutely no surprise at all to see Philippa Buttertil in 1st place by over a mark in the balance beam qualification standings. The intermediary standings at the 1/4 mark of the entire competition. But she's made a very good case to get into the final. We'll see how she fares as the day goes on. And the top performer on floor, Siena Santiago of the Cayman Islands, just ahead of Sienna Shields of New Zealand on the tiebreak criteria. The higher execution score is used as the key point of separation when the overall score is level. All of that brings to a close Subdivision 1, with Subdivision 2 to follow soon.